welcome back to my channel, where today I wanted to talk about whether I'd recommend going to university based off my own experiences with it. Mainly because results day is coming up soon and I know I had a really hard time deciding whether I actually wanted to go or not at that point in my life, and I would have really appreciated a video like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 6 main reasons that people either recommend or don't recommend university to people, and kind of just discuss my own experiences with those points. So number 1 is friendships. Everyone always says you can make so many friends at university. So I've personally met all my closest friends while at university, but I haven't met them all because of university. I don't have tons of friends, that's just not really my personality. I like small groups of friends, the majority of which I made in first year when I was living with them. I lived in housing in first year, you get put with random people, and I'm very close to 2 of the people that I lived with still. But my other closest friend I met while I was in the Netherlands for my year abroad, and they were not doing a degree at the time, they didn't go to my university, we just happened to meet. So for me, I'd say it goes both ways. You are independent, so you're more likely to make friends just because you're going to be going out more. You will be around more people that are your age, so it's more likely that you'll make friends, more likely that you'll find someone with something in common with you. But at the same time, you're also going to be surrounded by people who you don't want to be friends with, people who aren't very nice. I've had a lot of friendships that have completely fallen apart. I've met some really horrible people at university. So I would personally say that it's kind of the same sort of thing as if you had a job where you're all kind of just put in a room and you're kind of forced to converse with each other even if you don't really like each other. So it can turn into that sort of situation, but it can obviously also be really positive. So I would personally say if you're like me and you're a little bit anxious and you don't really like talking to people, I can only really talk to people if they talk to me first. A university environment is perfect for that because people will just come up and talk to you because everyone is on their own, everyone is trying to make friends. So for this point I would say that yes, you will make friends at university, but it's not the only place you can make friends. You can definitely make friends just out and about. You can make friends through work, even dating apps. You can make friends through dating apps. I have a few friends that I've met from dating apps and they are very good friends. So yeah, I feel like this point is a little bit all over the place because I'm not really sure where I stand on it, but I've made friends through university, so I guess the answer is yes, you will make friends at uni. Number 2 is you'll have better career prospects. Most people I know go to university because you are guaranteed a higher starting wage when you start work. However, I think this very much depends on the degree that you got. I don't have a degree that goes directly into a job. I have a degree in English and history, so there's not a definitive job to go into after my studies, and because of that, the field that I want to go into isn't very interested in my degree. I want to go into curation, but I don't actually have any experience with curation, and they're more likely to look at graduates who have got a curation degree or something more similar to that, like an art history degree. So I think it very much depends on what sort of degree you have and what sort of job you want to get. If you want to be a teacher, obviously if you have a teaching degree, you're much more likely to get the job that you want. But for the most part, at least in the people that I know, they go into jobs that you don't need degrees for. Jobs in cafes and shops, things like that, where you don't need a degree, you just need experience to get them. So I'd say it very much depends on what sort of job you want to do. There are also obviously apprenticeships that could be better for a job. There are also traineeships, which are slightly different from apprenticeships. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but apparently there is a difference between them. And there's also college experiences, they're much shorter. Most colleges I know have courses that are a year long, so rather than doing a 4-year degree or a 3-year degree, you can just go in for 1 year of college. So that might be a better option for you. What I would say personally is always think about the options that you want to do. If you don't think university is for you, you feel like you're going to be there for too long and it doesn't go directly into the job you want, maybe look at apprenticeships, traineeships, college work, things like that, that those employers would actually want to see on your CV, because I definitely feel like my CV isn't as good as it could have been if I had done a different thing. Not that I regret doing my degree, I definitely don't. I actually really enjoyed doing my degree, but I feel like there were other avenues that I could have gone down that would have been more useful for getting the job I want to get. Number 3 is self-development. All of my teachers at A-levels told me that you will find yourself during your degree, and I think it is true to some extent. It's very difficult to know whether I would have found myself in different environment. I feel like I could have done. I feel like I would have been kind of in the same place that I am now if I had done something else. However, degrees force you to be independent without the pressure of having to pay for everything. What I mean by that is you feel like an adult and you have your independence, but you can still kind of act like a teenager. Like if you don't want to go in for a class, you don't have to. Feel like taking a week off, you can do. You can't do that in a job, obviously. You can't just take random days off, you can't just not show up. So if you're the kind of person who wants independence but you don't really want to feel like an adult yet, I think degrees are a really good place to do that. Especially if you're like me and you're going to live in student housing away from your parents. It's a really good way of seeing what kind of adult life you would like to have without being forced to actually act like an adult yet. Number 4 is a negative, and it's the cost of university. For this, I'm only talking about the UK. I don't know about any of the other systems. So this section may not be relevant for everyone watching, but I do hope it's still a little bit helpful. So in the UK, we have student finance. You can get a study loan, which they pay directly to the university, a maintenance loan, which pays for your housing. Hello, I'm just coming in on a voiceover because I kind of misspoke here. I have a maintenance loan, but it does not go towards maintenance things. So I just use it for my own spending money. It doesn't go towards any of my housing because I'm very lucky, very privileged for that. But I had a study loan and I had a loan that kind of pays for my everyday things. And like like I just mentioned, I'm very lucky that my parents pay for my housing, but I know from a lot of people that the loans do not cover housing at all, especially if you're down in London. The loans are slightly higher in London, but they do not cover housing. So a lot of people I know have to get jobs while at university, part-time jobs that they have to go to every week on top of all the studying. One of my friends, and she's given me permission to talk about this, she took a year out, she deferred a year so she could work a year. This way she didn't have to work during her degree, and I think that is such a smart idea, and it worked out really well for her because it meant she wouldn't have to work the third year when things got really difficult at university. So in terms of the cost of university, it really depends on who you are as a person, your background, how much your parents earn, things like that. But at least in the UK, because we can get these loans and you can pay them back very slowly once you earn over 25 grand a year, it does make university a little bit more accessible. Obviously university is not accessible to everyone. It's almost completely inaccessible for people from very low class backgrounds, and they really need to sort that. They need more loans for people who are lower class. I don't understand why they don't. University is too expensive for what it is, quite honestly. Obviously there are subjects where it kind of makes sense. More sciencey degrees kind of make sense, but as soon as you get more into the art degrees, the less it makes sense because they do not give you the materials for your degree. So you really have to take into account that your other loans have to cover all of your university materials as well, which makes things a lot more complicated when trying to work out the cost of everything. Honestly, I don't feel like I have a very good conclusion for this section. The cost of something is very personal to someone's own life and their own experiences with life, so I don't really want to recommend or not recommend spending so much money on a university degree. What I would say is you have to make sense of the cost, and if it makes sense to you, then you should go. If it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't feel worth it to you, it may just not be the right decision for you. But that's all I can really say on that matter. If you have other thoughts on this topic, please put them down below in the comments. I'm sure people have vastly different experiences with the cost of living, and I would very much appreciate hearing about those experiences. Obviously, I'm not saying to put your finances down below, just comment your thoughts on the cost of university. Number 5 is that you'll gain knowledge. So obviously the main reason you go to university is to learn. It is a school after all, so you will learn a lot of things, whether that be to do with the subject, outside the subjects, extra subjects you may take along the way. You will learn a lot at university. I learned so much. I learned way more than I learned throughout all of the rest of my school life, and I was only doing 2 subjects. So if you really like learning, university is a great place to be. For me personally, I just like learning new things. I like having new knowledge. I like getting really deep into different subjects. I just find it really fun. I also really like having deadlines for that knowledge. So I really like having an essay due and having a specific date I have to get it in by, because it really helps me prioritize things. I really struggle with motivation, so having those little dates written down means I can calculate how much time I can spend on that thing. For me personally, if I had a 2,000 word essay, let's say, I would set aside 1 day for planning and then 1 day for each 500 words and then a final day for editing. So a 2,000 word essay would take me 6 days. I also did it like this so I could do other things around it without getting too stressed out. I did get stressed out, very stressed out towards the end of my degree, but for the most part I found this system worked really well and I really enjoyed it. I honestly wouldn't change my mind about university. I love going to university. I want to do it more. I want to get a master's. I want to get my PhD. I absolutely loved going to university, and if that sounds like something you'd also enjoy and that sounds like it's something for you, I would highly recommend university degrees. They're just so fun and you have so much access to different knowledge. Like, you have full access to the library. That's the best thing about going to university. You have so much access to all these articles you might want to read. Even if they're not in your subject, you can pop into a different subject and just read an article that's not available to the general public, and it's so good, so helpful. I really love it. I'm really gonna miss it as well, like not having access to all of that. It's really sad. I wish I still had access to a lot of the archives because there's so much stuff out there that I really want to get into, but now I feel like I can't because I don't have access to it anymore, and it costs so much money to get into those archives without a university. So yeah, the conclusion of this one is yes, you will definitely learn something, even if it's not necessarily what you thought you'd learn before you went. And finally, number 6 is you'll have fun. Even if some parts of it are very shitty and you have some bad experiences, overall I had so much fun at university. I met so many new people, I had so many experiences, I learned so much about different things. I was living alone, I had no parents to tell me what to do, I can make my own plans for the day, I never have to worry about what other people want me to do. I can just be very independent, and it's really fun. I'm gonna miss it when I move back in with my parents. I'm really gonna miss my independence. I really hope I don't get really bogged down by that. I feel like I might do, but I'm trying to be positive about this change, so I'm not gonna get too much into that right now. But yes, you will definitely have fun at university, even if it doesn't feel like it within the first month or 2 months or 3 months. Maybe in the first year isn't that fun, but I do believe you will have fun at university if you like the university itself. If you don't like the university and you're not having fun, leave. There's no shame in leaving. Dropping out is completely fine. Changing subjects is completely fine. Never showing up is completely fine if that's what you want to do. You can do anything at university and they really do not care. At least my university didn't care. They didn't mind if people didn't show up, which I think is great. You're the one paying for it. You can do whatever you want with it. It's your money at the end of the day. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. I feel like it's a little bit rambly, a little bit all over the place, but but I do hope you got something helpful out of this. If you did, please give it a like down below, comment what else you'd like me to do, and subscribe, as I'm posting 3 times a week for the whole of summer, and I'd love to see you again. But until then, bye!